Hey there, it's me again. So today I wanted to talk about something very important, and that is what the true definition of what God is. Now, God has been construed and butchered throughout time, and now it seems to reflect something outside of yourself that is constantly keeping an eye on you, making sure you're good, and if you're good, you get to go to heaven in your afterlife. It's like a super Santa Claus, kind of, But I want to talk about what, if you actually look at the etymology of what God is, you find that it traces back to this word called Yahweh. Now, Yahweh was a definition in Hebrew that meant I am that I am. Now, a lot of people would say, I am what, Now, it was so empowering to the people, and we'll get into why it was empowering, but the authority at the time did not like the fact that God was empowering the people. It made it impossible for the authorities at the time to control the population. So they ended up banning it from being uttered in the streets. You guys can't say Yahweh. If you do, we're going to prosecute you, take you to jail, get you out of here. And then they switched it in the Bible from Yahweh to Adonai. So they switched it from I am that I am to Lord of Lords or King of Kings. Now, this is my theory at the end of the day. This is what I think. What I've surmised, that the reason why I think I am that I am was so empowering was because finally someone wasn't saying I am Christian, I am masculine, I am angry on the weekends, I am a toxic person, I am disorderly in my brain. They were no longer concluding on their own souls. They were just saying I am that I am, which at the end of the day seems more like you start to view yourself as an ever expanding expression, a continual dynamic process, because you no longer conclude upon your soul. You start to view yourself more as emotion. Now, so God was closer to a verb than a noun. God was something that you could enter into a certain state of being. But as soon as they switched it to Adonai, which is the Lord of Lords, the King of Kings, it became something external. So the authorities at the time made something that was internal into something that was external. Something that was a state of being into a state of becoming. Now you're constantly reaching out to this transcendental object, trying to appease it, and you never learn to trust yourself. And this correlates perfectly with the word sin in Hebrew. The word sin in Hebrew means to miss. To miss what? To miss this. To miss this constant flux of change, this continual experience that is always expanding, If you cross-reference it with Dante's Inferno and the 7 deadly sins, you start to realize that with each 7 deadly sin, for example, lust, Take lust, for example. You have a pleasurable memory in the past, and you're trying to pursue it into the future. Gluttony, you have this experience of a delicious whatever, and you're trying to pursue it into the future, trying to get that same experience to happen along the same liking. So with every single 7 deadly sin, you notice that you're either one step into the past or one step into the future. You're never actually here experiencing new experiences. And that's why I think God, or like understanding that God is a verb, something you can enter into, was so empowering. To say I am that I am is to no longer conclude upon yourself, which allows you to be genuine and not have to search into the past to try to define yourself, or search into the future to try to become something that you see others emulating, such as, which goes back to greed. You see someone projecting charisma, money, success, and you're trying to bring that into your future. But whenever you do this, you get further from your source, as in further from your own verb. I like to say at the end of the day, we are all ever expanding expressions. We humans are closer to verbs than nouns. And you might not understand this at first, but just understand that there is no peak that you reach in your life where you're like, oh my God, I finally made it. Here I am. So therefore, it makes no sense for us to conclude upon ourselves. It makes no sense for us to say, hey, I recall angry memories in my past where I lashed out because I was pissed off. So therefore, I know that I am an angry person. So don't mess with me. When it could be any conclusion. It could be that, it could be jealousy, it could be anything. And when we put labels on ourselves, we do constrain ourselves, and we use that same methodology to judge others. So the same way that you are an ever-expanding expression, you have to understand that everyone around you is an ever-expanding expression as well, and that you should never conclude upon them. That's why one of the most important things in a relationship is to view your partner as new every day. Because at the end of the day, it's possible for us to create images when we see ourselves or when we see others. And as soon as we create that image, we're no longer interacting with ourselves. We're no longer interacting with others. We're just interacting with this self-projected image that keeps running in a habitual loop in our brain. So you never actually experience new information about yourself, about others. But as far as neuroplasticity and neurogenesis goes, and epigenetics, you need new stimulation to your brain every single moment to be able to keep a healthy mind. But how can one do that if they're always one step into the past or one step into the future? Whenever you're one step into the future, it's really just a reflection of the past. So you're actually just reiterating the same images you've already concluded upon other people, yourself, locations, events, whatever, So the way for you to never fall in a rut is simply to start viewing yourself more as a verb and understand that you're able to enter this space where when you don't conclude upon yourself, you come closer to who you are. I'm going to finish with this quote. It's by Lao Tzu. He's a Chinese philosopher. And he said, if you think you know who you are, you don't know who you are. If you don't know who you are, you're closer to who you might be. There it is. People are so ravenous for self-discovery that they go out into the world trying to find the ideal noun, the ideal image for themselves, but they get further away from that source, that continual, ever-expanding expression within themselves. Thank you.